Ilia Topuria, El Matador, the man who silenced Volkanovski, the man who pointed to the floor and knocked out Max Holloway. Inside the octagon, he is untouchable. He looks perfect. The suits, the roses, the confidence. But outside the cage, his empire is crumbling. We are witnessing a disaster unfolding in real time. We aren't talking about a simple breakup here. We are talking about a nuclear divorce. His wife, Georgina Usheta, isn't just leaving. Reports suggest she is gunning for 50% of his entire net worth. And it gets darker. Ilia just released a bombshell statement claiming he is being blackmailed with accusations of domestic violence. He might lose his money, he might lose his reputation, and if the rumors are true, he might even be forced to vacate the UFC championship to keep the scandal away from the organization. How did we get here?
Boris, man, he's crazy.
He's a fucking beast, bro.
I don't think anyone could really outbox
That guy's got it
him.
all too. He's a good fighter.
Oh, dude.
His wife's a fucking, no disrespect, she's a absolute rocket. Like she's the best looking wife in the UFC by far. No disrespect to Topuria, but yeah, no, that guy's the real deal.
The man who made the world believe he was untouchable. We watched him dismantle Alexander Volkanovski. We watched him point to the center of the octagon and put Max Holloway to sleep, something that seemed impossible. Inside the cage, he is a predator controlling every inch of space. But life, as it turns out, hits harder than any featherweight. Right now, as we discuss his greatness, Topuria's empire is cracking at the seams. And the threat isn't coming from Islam Makhachev or a rematch with Max. The threat is coming from his own bedroom. Divorce. The word sounds boring until you hear the numbers. But who is Georgina Usheta? That is the darkest and most interesting question of this story. The official legend goes, they met at a party in the USA. A classic story. A successful fighter and a successful businesswoman. We are told she is the CEO of a company called Future and Energy. Sounds solid, right? Ecology, energy, big money, the perfect couple, the king of the ring and the queen of business. But let's turn on some critical thinking. Did anyone know about Georgina's business empire before she started appearing on red carpets with Topuria? It's a rhetorical question, and the answer is one many won't like. Critics and fans have already started digging, and a suspicion arises. Was this energy company a real source of income before the marriage? Or did this business miraculously flourish, feeding off Ilia's bank account? There is a massive difference between a self-made woman and a woman whose success was bankrolled by UFC checks. And if she is now demanding half, claiming it as joint assets, then Ilia has fallen into a classic trap. He thought he met an equal, but he turned out to be a donor. Now the question isn't whether he defends the belt. The question is whether El Matador will be left with nothing after meeting the American judicial system, which loves to split everything down the middle without asking who took the punches to the head for those millions.
Your face lit up when they went on.
Yeah, right. It's amazing. We already dreamed this so many times. We always say that you have to see things before they happen. And when they happen, it's just a manifestation of what you already saw.
Another dream come true.
The scariest part of this story isn't the money. Money comes and goes. The scariest part is the betrayal of expectations and the total destruction of an image that was built over years. Let's be honest, MMA fans have developed an immunity to scandals. When John Jones gets into a car accident or fails a doping test, we sigh and say, classic Jones. When Conor McGregor starts a brawl in a bar or writes drunken tweets, it is perceived as part of his crazy show. We expect dirt from them. It is sewn into their bad boy DNA. But Ilia Topuria, this is a completely different case. He wasn't just selling us fights. He was selling us class. He positioned himself as the anti-Conor, just as rich and successful, but disciplined, respectful, a family man. He was that cover face that the UFC isn't ashamed to show to major advertisers. And suddenly, this perfect facade collapses with a crash heard on every continent. The statement about blackmail and the domestic violence accusations is a nuclear bomb for his reputation. And here we return to the figure of his wife and her company, Future and Energy. Insiders are whispering that this whole energy empire might be the key to the blackmail. If it turns out the company was a fiction, Created with Ilia's money for laundering or just for the wife's status, this opens a Pandora's box of financial fraud. But even worse is the accusation of violence. The mechanics of this blackmail are monstrous in their simplicity. He is essentially being told, pay us millions, give up 50% of your assets without a fight, or we will destroy you in the eyes of the public. This is psychological torture. Imagine the state of a fighter who is supposed to be preparing for a title defense, for a war in the cage, but instead he is at war with lawyers and his own paranoia. In 2025, cancel culture works faster than a guillotine. Sponsors like gear manufacturers or energy drink companies don't wait for a court verdict. They don't care about the presumption of innocence. As soon as even one video appears online, even if it's just a loud argument, even if it's filmed on a hidden camera and taken out of context, Ilia will become a toxic asset.
Can anybody get under your skin? Does anybody get under your skin? Somebody that knows to say something that triggers. I see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife. She's the only person.
He says they want to get money out of him. This is a classic celebrity divorce scheme. Turn personal life into a commodity and sell it for the highest price. If Ilia gives in to the blackmail, he admits guilt. If he fights, the compromise, real or fabricated, will spill onto the internet and the abuser label will stick to him forever. Washing that off is practically impossible. Even if a court acquits him in 5 years, people won't remember the judge's verdict. They will remember the newspaper headlines. Ilia Topuria is currently in a cage with no exit. Any move he makes leads to losses. And the most hurtful part is that he isn't losing this fight because of a weak chin, but because he trusted the wrong person. And here we arrive at the climax of this tragedy, to the moment that could forever change the power balance in the UFC. The information that Topuria might vacate the belt sounds like the ravings of a madman. But if you think about it, it is the only logically correct move in his situation. The UFC isn't just a fight league, it is a multi-billion-dollar corporation owned by TKO Group. They have shareholders, they have TV contracts with Disney and ESPN. Do you know what these corporations fear most? Toxicity. They can forgive trash talk. They can forgive a hotel brawl. But the topic of domestic violence is a red line that cannot be crossed. Dana White is a pragmatist to the bone. He understands, if a video surfaces tomorrow morning where the featherweight champion raises a hand to a woman, the UFC will be under crossfire from critics. Feminists, the media, politicians, everyone will demand blood. Therefore, the scenario where Ilia voluntarily vacates the belt, citing family circumstances and inability to train fully, benefits everyone. It allows the organization to save face. Look, he left on his own. We have nothing to do with it. It allows Ilia to focus on the legal war without being distracted by weight cutting. But at what cost? Imagine the scale of the fall. Yesterday, you were on top of the world. You knocked out two of the greatest featherweights in history. You had the world at your feet. And today, you are sitting in a lawyer's office, counting losses and writing a statement, resigning the title you earned with blood and sweat. If he gives up the belt, he might never get it back. While Ilia splits his assets and proves he isn't a monster, the division will move on. Volkanovski is thirsty for a rematch. Diego Lopez is breathing down his neck, and new hungry wolves are appearing. The king's seat never stays empty. Everything points to Ilia Topuria becoming a textbook example in history. An example of how one wrong choice of a life partner can destroy a legacy faster than any knockout. The belt will be surrendered. The reputation stained. The bank account halved. This story is a brutal reminder to all young stars. Your most dangerous opponents don't always wear gloves. Sometimes they wear wedding rings and run energy companies that no one has ever heard of.
Can anybody get under your skin? Does anybody get under your skin? Somebody that knows to say something that triggers. I see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife. She's the only person.
This drama is far from over. Whose side are you on? Do you believe in Ilia's innocence, or do you think there's no smoke without fire? Write your opinion in the comments. Hit the like button so the algorithms promote the truth, and definitely subscribe to the channel. Here we talk about what others are afraid to whisper. See you soon.